So here's what I know for sure, that life and death happens multiple times a day in many ways, spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Those are the four truths of how we experience this human experience: physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If there's another one, I haven't figured it out yet, but feel free to tell me. And financially is not one, because finances is a system outside of us. I'm talking about systems that we are created from. And so today I experienced life and death emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally in one day. Usually I don't see the physical as much as, I look at that at like a part of who you were physically is dead, or you are physically dead. And so I'm heartbroken. My daughter's best friend passed away in a car accident today. Well, it happened on Valentine's Day. And these two deeply loved each other, and it breaks my heart and shattered into 1,000 pieces, because the patterns that I see in my brain and I intuitively feel are that this is a cycle that we are ushering in as women. Meaning, let them who have ears hear. But many of us are called to do a thing, and we were ushered out of a system to help other people come out of these systems. The last stat I saw was 600,000 women across the US alone were ousted from the workforce system. I was one of them. 300,000 were Black women. I was one of them. So I am amongst the number of women who have been removed from a system, or two or three. You may have gotten a divorce. You may have lost a relationship. You lost your job. You've lost things. They are dead or dying or outdated. And you don't know how to move forward. Because we have been taught not to grieve the death cycle. How the fuck we feel like grieving the death cycle? We have been taught that when something like this happens, you stop and you shut down, or you go automatically in operations mode. Like the default mode is never, why can't I laugh in the day? Why can't I play for an hour or two and move my body somatically, move this static energy so I can hear the pain, so I can address the loss and the hurt and the suffering that I'm going through about this truth? Why can't I do healthy things to move my body? And so I'm walking my daughter through this process, and she just happened to meet a new friend. Like, nothing is a coincidence in the Hart household ever. She goes out of country, meets a beautiful woman in one space, and then they agree to remain friends and have been. It's been over a month. And then the woman says, I'm going to come visit you. She comes in yesterday. They have a time. And today, this woman, who happens to be a therapist, but not coincidentally, is there to nurture my child while I get ready to go to her and hold space for her. In the same vein, I'm having a conversation with this new friend of mine, and we're sharing that we both had divine visitations and encounters with the divine feminine, a force, one of many. The divine masculine, one of many. We have had a Christ consciousness moment, or whatever people need to call it, an awakening, right? We've had an awakening in our own time and day, but we see each other now. I see you're awake, I'm awake. I don't have to judge what you do and how you do it, because that's your path. This is my path. We understand what our message is, right? And she didn't. And so I said, this morning I had a podcast scheduled to talk to another coach friend that I met. We call ourselves death doulas, but we don't doula the physical death. We doula the mental and emotional death. And we were going to have a dynamic conversation about death in the new world, like death in a new world that we are describing, this elevated, enlightened feeling is that we acknowledge all things are part of a cycle. We acknowledge all things are one, and there's no one only. It's all of it. Every religion, every race, every gender is all one. We agree with oneness consciousness. And so let's share space. Let's have conversations about what that looks like. Yesterday or the day before, I had a conversation with a beautiful Iranian woman about community and how the women gather in community to heal, to feed, to make friends. And then prior to that, I had a conversation with another group of women about allyship. Like external allyship, we have expectations, but we also have expectations on ourselves to be our own allies. Like nothing is a coincidence for me. Every pattern is connected, because I like to connect to the divine and question, like, did you do this? Did you do this? I see you. And I have been blessed to acknowledge that I have intuitive intelligence that brings me the mentorship and guidance from all the corners of the earth, every culture. I am learning something from every culture, and some things are not for me, and some things make total sense. Like everything that has to do with women empowerment and the divine masculine feminine balance, that's what I groove on in spirituality. Everything that has to do with intelligence, cognitive, and emotional, I groove with that. That's my professional background. And I'm a designer, and I'm so many things. I'm so many things that make sense for me in the journey to self-mastery that I've been on, and where I currently am. I want to bring people at least this far. I want to help people. I really do. And so last night I was on my Chat GPT. We were framing out a 5-hour intensive workshop with the Betty method and stress testing it against other systems that exist. And I was like, give me a critique. What's missing? What's working? What's not working? Let's do a retro now. Like, well, I have some data, but let's do a retro. And it was like, it's perfect, girl. It's actually over perfect. It's overcooked. Girl, get this shit out and let people know it's here. And I was like, great. I feel good. Betty is ready. Had a dream that I was talking to an Asian man, old Asian Hawaiian kind of guy. And he had wrote me, like, he sent me a message in social media, and I was trying to communicate with him. Like, what do you mean? Tell me more. And I ended up getting on a call. And right when I asked him, like, tell me what you know about Sophia, he didn't want to talk. And I was like, oh, that's too bad, because I thought we was getting it. And woke up and I was like, oh, you know what? I didn't read my Mary Magdalene book last night. Let me read that this morning. And I went through like 3 small mini chapters. And Tara appeared, and she was like, yes, child, do the heart intelligence stuff. Like, duh, we need it right now. Hearts are on fire in a bad way. They're not being purified. They're raged. They're enraged. They're inflamed. February's Heart Health Month, Bahati, and you said you wanted to be healthy with your heart, and you've been having some issues with your heart. It's time to do the work, scientifically, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, cool, let's do it, girl. So then, again, my daughter loses her best friend, heartbroken. But then I start patterning, like, man, the short while that they knew each other, the closest that they shared, she entrusted her deepest thoughts to him. And he was so wise. But they just weren't on the same maturity level for the next commitment. And they were from different cultures and different countries, and it was a lot. But man, what a time they had. I was living vicariously through the whole thing for the most part. And so he's gone. Her heart's broken. My heart's broken for her. She happens to have a friend nearby. And this is me patterning, right? This is what we do as ADHD intellectuals. The patterns have to make sense for our nervous system. So we're going to speak them out loud. And this is what I'm doing. I'm speaking it out loud because you may be like me and you see a pattern. And you might have a feeling about that pattern. And so I'm just here to tell you, there is something else going on. We do know this. We see it in the news. We don't want to be a part of that. We want to be a part of the new world. But the new world is going to realize, like, there's going to be so much death and dying in all the quadrants now. And many of us, mostly women, have a new mission and a ministry or message or movement or whatever you want to call it, to usher people to the death of the thing. And so, depending on what field you once were in, if there's any parts of that that still remain in you that brought you great joy, do that in a way that helps people unlock where they're stuck. They're stuck here. They're trapped. They're entrapped in their hearts. I'm a student of all religions, for the most part, that center heart intelligence. And in Christianity, we've locked away some intelligence. We've locked away the Gnostic books and stories that I learned about years ago when I was walking the Hebrew Israelite movement. But even that it was filled with so much rage, and I was like, I don't want to feel like that, you guys. I just want to learn what you learn and figure out how to live a better life, because I don't have the energy to argue with people. That's not my thing. I'm from the South Side. We don't argue. And I'm too old to fight, and I'm too sexy to go to jail. We don't do that. So I need to figure out what works for my nervous system. And in my vantage point, I feel like many of us are experiencing a shift, and we are figuring out how to navigate it. And some of us have our license, certifications, receipts, whatever, to help you navigate that. Mine is called the Betty Method, becoming empowered through intelligence, because I believe in heart intelligence solely. I believe artificial intelligence is an assistive tool to help us unlock that. I believe artificial intelligence is an assistance tool to help us unlock cognitive intelligence, the neuroscience behind things, because none of this should be unavailable to the ones who want to study and master themselves. And AI has opened a portal for us to master ourselves. And this terrifies the powers that be. And so they want to demonize AI, and they want to make it where they control everything. And that's, hey, do you, boo. That's not for me. The new world I want to be a part of, there's this group forming in Atlanta called Vibe X. And really, we want to play, we want to learn, and we want to create. I was like, sign me up. I want to bring Betty AI there. Betty AI is my digital coach companion that stays on 24/7 when I'm asleep, because I would love to help everybody, but that's not my ministry anymore. My ministry is to create the thing and move on so I can play. And I realized that my job is to become a death doula of identities. I have a friend that's a death doula of corporate life. I have friends that are death doulas in many other ways, and some of them don't even know it yet, right? Some women don't know, oh, when I think of the death of a thing, person, place, thing, what are the things that we don't eulogize and usher to their death? What are the things? Because we do people and we do places, but we don't do things very well. So that is the message that I've been given. My ministry, my movement, Unmasking and Becoming Human Again, in my book, is these are all things I tried, you all, and this is how it's working for me. Life is great. I'm here to tell you there's something else, the Betty Method, but I also have some friends, and I'm making more each day. We can solve our own problems. Bye. We can solve our own problems, and we can be the change we want to see in the world. We can be solution focused. We can have rage and passion in our heart at the same time. It's a purifier. That's what that's there for. We can love God and love people and love your neighbor as yourself. I'm literally, this season that I know that we're in, that I've studied, is the end of the snake year, the shedding, the rebirth is on its way. The death cycle is now, right? Things are dying. On February 17th will be the new Chinese New Year, which is the horse, and it is a fire horse. So there will be more purification rituals, deaths of things, and things ending. Again, beliefs, systems, societies, relationships, careers, people. Yeah, we're in the death cycle. But this is the perfect time for those of us who purified to come forward and say, I'm here if you need me. And so, dead of winter, and it's spring. It's okay. It's going to be okay. The message is that if you've been feeling that your heart is on fire, then now's the time to stand up and get ready to rise up, because it's time to build some new systems.